Hi, Mark.
Hi.
It's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
We have a diary on Ubuntu, as you know, it's an extension of the work we do at Tonda
Yeah.
of getting and creating more understanding and appreciation of the arts and of creators of many forms. We are going to start more with artists, but it's really anyone who's in a space that they're trying to create a change.
Yeah.
Or they're doing something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, but is for the benefit of more people. And art is automatically one of those things, anything that is artistic.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I will allow you to introduce yourself. Maybe I can say where I met you and my background to Mark. I'll give my introduction of you, and then you can give a proper introduction of yourself.
Okay.
So I met you at an event. It was an event by Live More.
Yeah.
And Mark was launching his first book.
Yes.
His first collection of poems. Collection, because he's the same poet. Yeah, but he had a collection of poems and they did some reading of a few.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good. When I think of Mark's poetry, the word that comes to mind is accessible. It's accessible literature. I can access it. I read it and I get it. It's not how thus then thy will thee.
Yeah.
But it's written in such simple language. I thought I would read one, then I said maybe we'll read one at the end. Yeah. We'll see. But I thought I'd read one poem. I couldn't even pick the one to read. I picked one. I know that
any would be
I know the one I wanted to read.
Yeah.
I know that one I want to read because it's so relatable. But I read as accessible. And I think there's a narrative we have around literature because a lot of our literature was taught. We were forced to understand it in the way the teacher said you should understand it. And so we don't believe that we have that. We feel like you need to be competent to understand literature. Yeah. You need to have a skill. It's not true. You just need to read it and see how it makes you feel. Yeah. And it acknowledges, it validates. I found this a very validating writing of poems. It validates a lot of state of mind that I have. So Mark is that writer. He also has a series of events that he runs. Yes. He's very passionate about creating platforms for other poets. Yes. I've always admired people who don't want to go alone. Yeah. They say, there's that saying, together we go. Alone I go fast, but together we go further. Yes, we go further. Yeah. Yeah, so we can move faster alone or further together. And I think you're interested in the longer distance. And so he has a platform, Ladu Poetry House, which is going to introduce. But what Ladu does is they have these different forms of events. On one side, Ladu is supporting poets to nurture their talent. Art is not something you build alone at home. You build it through performance. You build it through doing the thing. Yeah. You write and then you read and then you write, then you read, and you have to speak it out and understand how it's impacting the people in the room, how it makes you feel. It has to be nurtured in a live environment. Yeah. You can't just write in your bedroom and become an artist from there. Yeah. So there's an element of being heard and performing and expressing. I think it's this thing that has to get out of you. It has to go somewhere. So he does the honorable work of creating spaces for people who have that talent or that desire to learn that talent or the skill to nurture it. He also is creating entertainment for some people like me who are looking for alternative entertainment where I don't escape where I am, where I am, and being entertained from there, and I'm present and I'm enjoying it, and it's funny, it's humorous, it's serious, it's meaningful, it's emotional, it's everything. So that's Ladu Poetry. So he has a couple of events which we'll speak about, but that's how I know Mark. Very passionate. Yeah, thank you. And trying to go places. He also has a session of he has sessions he runs with teenagers, poetry as therapy. And that's a concept I think I want us to open with after you introduce yourself. Okay. But yeah, so that's how I know Mark.
Wow. Wow. You know me more than I know myself. We know quite a lot.
I mean, Mama, I pay
Is that
attention.
me? Oh,
That's
we
like
talk
who
about
are we talking about?
Oh, it's really.
Yeah, so if you can
Wow.
introduce yourself,
Okay.
and how you want to be received, and
Yeah.
then we can get into poetry as therapy as a concept.
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Christina. Wow. Yeah, I'm lost of words for someone who is invested in the pursuit of language and words for quite a while. My name is Mark Gordon Mugasha. I am Ugandan, born and raised in Kampala, Mulago Hospital, then Makere, and then life started taking me different spaces. I'm a creative arts producer. I'm a spoken word artist, and I'm the founder of Ladu Poetry House, and recently the author of probably the first spoken word poetry collection on mental health and life called Daydreamer. Yeah, in a nutshell, that's me for now. Yes, I'm quite excited about this. I started writing, I think my first uh, writing was in primary. Then around S2, I became information prefect and I would write lots of articles on school assembly. So when I was 14 years old, I started looking for spaces outside school during holiday where you could go to read out loud or to listen to other people read. And it wasn't existing. I didn't know why, but I always found interest in writing articles and reading them at the school assembly. Later on in my senior six VAC, I found out that my reading out loud was an actual art form. I found poetry on YouTube and it was spoken word. And I was like, you mean this that I've been interested in for a very long time has a name? It's an art form.
It's a whole thing.
Yes.
That was senior six?
That was senior six. I went down the rabbit hole of Def Jam poetry and so many poets online in South Africa, in UK, in Kenya. I became too excited. And about the same time, I joined the Lantern Meet of Poets. We used to write poetry every every other Sunday at the theater. Then after 3 months, we would have recitals in the theater. That's how I begin getting nurtured into stage poetry. And when I felt like the theater poetry needed also to come out to the normal spaces that I was looking for initially, like would I walk on the street and find a space, a cafe, or somewhere where they read poetry? I ended up finding a poetry in session. It used to happen every first Tuesday of the month. Then I founded Open Mic, which
Where was poetry in session?
There was Rouge, then somewhere in Kamocha.
Club Rouge?
Club Rouge, yes. Back in the day, Maurice Clare, I used to have the Maurice Clare experiences. So they would have poets sometimes in between. Then also poetry in Roshan Kamali, an amazing founder, Ife Pianki. They used Babaluku with his spoken truth. They used to have such events, and I gravitated towards that more because of my inspiration from the online. But then YouTube was absolutely new, but still my attachment to what I was seeing the Americans do with what I've always been interested in made sense, and I wanted to look for spaces like that.
Yeah.
Because there were quite few and not as regular, I founded Open Mic. Every Thursday, we were meeting at next to a Toto church. There used to be a space called Open House. And why that was an easier space for me to find, I also used to volunteer with Power FM at Watoto and under audience relations. Later on, I ended up working in that department as an audience relations executive. That's why there was a connection between me and Beverly, because we didn't work at the same time. I worked when she had left, but everything I worked under, she had created. So
at
Power FM. So my ability to organize and create event spaces, I get it from there. And later on, I left my team. They ended up running Open Mic Uganda, and I traveled. I went to Kigali for Spoken Word Rwanda. I volunteered with the Umuno Arts Festival in Rwanda for a while. When I came back, I started thinking that we need a space for a young me who feels you're talented, you're excited, but you want to find other like-minded people, equally motivated people, and they were not there. So I created Ladu Poetry Slam around, now this is 20, I'm paraphrasing, my story is quite longer, around 2015, 2016 there. We used to meet in Bugolobi at a place called Gatomato.
Yeah.
And we'd do First Thursdays, I think. And my goal was to discover other poets through a competition, and would contribute from what would collect. And the winner, who the audience feels like was the best performer, would get the cash prize that we have collected. I ran that for a while. Then I discovered another challenge, that poets, yes, now I was discovering more poets, creating more spaces for them. We needed a space for mentorship. Hence, Ladu Poetry House.
Poetry House.
Yes, from the Ladu Poetry Slam. So you may ask yourself, or someone may wonder, why Ladu? From growing up in Kampala, from my little Uganda, I wanted a word that would resonate with thunder. I had a quotation that says, writing is lightning, speech is thunder. So and then also, have you heard of that, of the saying, don't steal my thunder, don't steal my shine? So I believe that moment before the mic is your thunder. It is your moment to shine, and don't let anyone steal that from you. Because our art form is the language of hearts. You speak directly to hearts. So it's your moment to show your true self, to tell your version of the story.
Yes.
We move around with rumors and versions of us from other people. The moment before the mic is your opportunity to tell your story. Hence, Ladu. Yeah, thunder. Yeah.
That's powerful. And man, I think I did not know those parts.
When you asked to introduce and also talk about it, I felt it was important I give that context, that background.
Yeah, I think it just explains, Mark, why you're able to get into. I think I didn't know you had a media background.
I do.
And because you have a media background, then you've done in Rwanda, you were also, it was part of an events, would you call it an events production?
Yes. I was
company?
Yes, there is a Mashirika Arts Company that produces Umuno Arts Festival as part of the production bit of it, and training poets. Then I also featured a lot at Spoken Word Rwanda. But yes, bringing the media background, I studied mass comm, and when I worked in advertising. I also in media worked in creating events. So definitely I do have a media background.
Yes, you have a background in the consumption.
Yes.
That's the consumption side of arts. Which is also very powerful, because many people, we create things, even in business, we create things, but we don't know how they're going to be received on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, what you do, what you have and because art is only consumed in consumption by other people. So there has to be a space where people are receiving the art. They are in a state where they can enjoy it. They can pay for what they're receiving. But someone has to think about all that. And so it now makes sense why a lot of Ladu's, the work Ladu Poetry House does is around creating spaces, creating events, to make the art consumable. That people can, and even the people who come and attend are interested in attending because some of them are poets also, and others are curious about the poetry. And they're not going to do that if they only have books. The books have to, what did you say? Words are? Speech is thunder? What's that?
Writing is lightning, speech is thunder.
So
one is after the other.
One is after the other. Also, yes, that's how it works. The lightning comes. Honestly, lightning only becomes shakes you when the thunder comes.
Yes, when the lightning comes in, you know the thunder is boom.
And then you're just like, oh my God, and then it takes you.
Yes.
That's a nice
You're absolutely right. Our art form cannot grow without an audience to consume it. And how we package the interest to what we do matters.
Yes.
And these are the challenges I faced. And you kind of mentioned it. And personally, back in the day, like I told you, I started writing as early as my senior 2. By senior 6, imagine writing every Wednesday for 3 to 2 years consistently and reading out loud. So by practice, you become good at what you do. And personally, by senior 6, I was already averagely good. Okay, I'm trying to be modest, but I was good. I was good, and at that time, it was the challenge I faced is you're good compared to who? You can't be good alone. So I found it important to create platforms for others so that there is variety of what we do. It can be named, it can be identified. And that's why it's important, even under Ladu Poetry House, that the experience of our art form is such that it is receivable to the audience. They can easily buy it, they can easily relate to it. There's one of the poets who came at the church when we were doing where we have poetry and strings, and he's like, I would like to do an open mic, give him a few guidelines. Gentleman performed. From his performance, was booked by a couple planning their wedding.
Imagine.
And like, would like to commission you to write 2 poems for us, and he was paid for that. That is what I mean. That the art form.
Was he going to write about like their story? What?
I don't know. That is now between them. But the idea that
you should find out
that
why.
I'm going to find out.
You should find out.
That's
why.
a good story. But the idea is that he was presented and received in a way that the audience, now the couple who commissioned him, could consume and understand. And that wasn't the case before.
Yeah.
And that is the idea, really.
Yeah. You know, I was going to ask a different question, but there's something you've said, and maybe my conversation also with Beverly from Babishai is that, so they tell us that, oh, you know, writing and spoken word tells us who we are. Who are we? Sometimes when people write, they're telling us who we used to be, and people don't relate with that.
Yeah.
Then people like comedians, and we're having a conversation earlier about it.
Yes.
Why is comedy rising? Because comedians are, because in a way, I know it's not poetry, but it's spoken word.
It is.
Comedy is spoken word.
It is.
And they're telling stories about what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Where we are now, who we are now. What are we dealing with today? At least in a relatable sense.
Yes.
And Ugandans are consuming it because it's telling them a story that's familiar to them, but expressed through art. Something they can grasp.
Yes.
And so I think when you said that there's a couple getting married and they had spoken word and they said, I'm going to make an assumption that couple wants that poet to write us. I'm going to make an assumption that they're going to commission him to write something that relates to them.
Exactly.
And share it. And so instead of memory lane, or you have a memory lane with an overlay of a poem. It's still something written. Instead of giving guys just, oh, thank you for coming to our wedding and this cards, give them a poem and let that poem be presented. And let that poem say something about the couple.
Thank you.
So I feel like there is an opportunity for us to actually use the power of these words to tell the stories that actually matter to people today.
Thank you.
And articulate. And that's one of the things I really liked at Poetry and Strings. They cover more of... There's these poems that people write, that people say about what it means to be a Ugandan today. Sometimes they really say things. There's a time a lady gave a story of just from leaving her home to how she interfaced with the borders. And from the borders, how she had to go to the supermarket and get shocked by the prices of food. And everything she was saying, I said, that is it. Like, this is it.
This is so Ugandan.
It was so Ugandan, but it was so funny. The way she said it, it was very interesting. But without losing the agony of it, that guys, why are we in a country where we actually only find out what's going on at the moment when we can't actually access it? You find out you can't afford, there's no healthcare because you don't have free healthcare. You don't.
True.
So there was a form of really letting you see your world in a, and make you ask yourself, but why is that how it should be?
Yeah.
So there are many different varieties of the poems, but I think there's something around writing stories that people relate with.
Yes.
And that makes me also want to now speak about the poetry as therapy as a concept.
Yeah.
I'd never had that. And maybe you can share with us what is poetry as therapy as a concept, and why is it important to young adults? They're not adults. They're
adolescents and also young adults.
And then young adults. Actually, yes, young adults,
university students and young workers, those who have just poetry as therapy or poetry therapy. And allow me to connect it to the question of writing that is relatable and why you yourself found Daydreamer accessible, in your own words. It's because we want to hear ourselves in the art we consume. And the reason as to why I deliberately made my writing for Daydreamer with simple text, with simple diction, was because I wanted it to be relatable. I wanted even a border guy who can do some decent reading, be able to find a piece there. They'll be like, this could have been me. I could have gone through heartbreak like this. I could have understood love like this, or friendship like this, or work like this. So that it was intentional, that it is relatable. And 15 years in the industry of performance poetry, and this is my first collection. It's because personally, I needed to reach that point of healing enough to share. And that was therapy for me. So it was a true story. So my pursuit of understanding, as I was compiling and finishing Daydreamer, of what I was experiencing led me to know that actually there are others out there that may need my help. They don't need to also spend 15 years to have access to the information I'm having through poetry as therapy. And also I've seen live examples. I used to go to some schools to do training, and some of my students that I trained, I would meet them on the street and they're like, oh, you man, they would introduce me to their parents or to their friends. You're responsible for my confidence. I'm like, how? You gave me a poem to read. Now I did this and this. I applied for this. And seeing that change, I'm like, oh, poetry can be therapy.
Yes.
Poetry can be presented also as therapy. They are healing aspects of poetry. So that's where the concept of poetry as therapy comes from for me. And the other way of wording it is poetry therapy. It's an actual practice. I later found out that there are sessions, talks, there's listening experiments, sometimes even with actual therapists, whereby a group of people coming together, probably at a university, school, or even a seminar, can listen to poetry and have a new way of thinking, a new way of healing, a new way of conceptualizing their emotions.
Yeah.
That's where poetry becomes therapy. So we decided to create poetry as therapy talks with communities, and our target audience are young people in school, at university, or even young workers, because there's a pandemic with this age group.
Yep.
With or the kind of challenges they're dealing with. The generations before, millennials and the Generation X, they never went through that, because how do you tell a millennial or a Gen X that you're struggling with that attention addiction? They never fathomed screens. We watched TV.
It wasn't possible.
From 5 during the day, TV was closed, you know. So they're dealing with addiction. They're dealing with social media. They're dealing with depression, anxiety. They're dealing with functional depression, and these are things they do not know that they even have words for such. Whereby you can be in school, you have friends, you go to church, you're even a leader at your church, but you have issues that you are not dealing with, and you also don't know. So the interest for us to use poetry as an element to spark conversation, as an element to have healing. One, I've seen its power, immediate, that someone came for our poetry session, read a poem, and their view of themselves changed.
Just by reading?
By reading. I'll tell you a story of a young man called Emmanuel Magen, at Green Hill. I found him kneeling down, and he was punished. Why? He was getting papers, squeezing them, dipping them in water, and throwing them at girls passing by. Gosh. And later on, I figured out he was struggling with attention at home, probably had issues and all that. When I brought him in our session, we gave him a poem to read. When he opened his mouth to speak, his friends kept quiet. He had such a powerful, beautiful voice. And they clapped. In the recital, he was our last performer, and he got 3 standing ovations. When I went back to that school, he was a prefect, smartly dressed. So it informs me that in the moment, someone probably who felt not heard, not seen, not accepted, got the acceptance he was craving for, probably at home, or I don't know what his family background was or what he was going through. Yeah. But that moment of hearing his voice, finding himself, and probably loving an art form that directs him to a purpose that he can actually agree with, makes him think that his life can be much more. That's the therapy I'm talking about. And it can be immediate. And the beauty about it is it has impact for the performer, for the storyteller, and the audience there and then. That's why I love it.
I think poetry, what you've explained about that, a man like a young guy like that, it's power of words.
Power of words, yes.
If the words that come out of my mouth matter, if people can sit and listen to me and say, great, that was good. I can see how it's transformative for you to have an experience that shows you that this is important. What you say matters. And people can receive it well. And when you start to think about what you say, you start to think about how you do it, how you say it, how you show up. I see that. I think I'd not thought about it that way.
Absolutely. And allow me add, we are planning to do poetry as therapy talks. These are going to be community tours in schools, in universities, in communities where there are young people and young adults, because we feel passionate about that age group. Not that we do not mind about kids or even the older generation. We hope maybe. Then we are planning to do a biannual conference for young adults. Reason is we want to encourage spaces of conversation, uncensored spaces of conversation, where there is a therapist, clinical therapist present, where there are poets reciting poetry. I like how in literature class you discuss themes of, Beverly was talking about corruption, of betrayal, of this and that. There are themes we, especially in Daydream, on stress, on depression, on anxiety, on addiction, that are presented in simple text and also in a creative way that can spark conversation. And we don't know where that conversation will go, but will lead someone finding healing, someone identifying their situation and asking the right question of how they can get help. Because you cannot find healing unless you know what you're dealing, what is bothering you. And if you can name it, you can solve it. So that is the gist and the heart of poetry as therapy. We want to do community outreach talks. Then also we're going to have a semi-annual conference with young people. We are still in the ideation stages, but we're going to have probably in September, and then another probably in March next year.
Targeting.
For the conference, we are targeting university students and young workers. It is about 21 to about 27-year-olds.
That's September?
That is September, yes. And then for the talks, they are ongoing as and when we are invited by a university, by a school, by an institution, by a community. It is part of the goals as Ladu Poetry House. We felt we could take on as a project to foster conversation and healing among young people.
Before we go into tell me about writing. When you say that, even because before you speak, you write.
Yes.
In most cases.
Yes.
And when you talk about poetry as therapy, there is reading what another has written.
Yes.
What about writing?
Absolutely. Yeah. There is as Ladu, and personally as a spoken word poet, we put a lot of attention on the spoken word, on the performance word, but I've come to believe recently that the spoken word should be informed by the written word. So we also intend to incorporate writing workshops and writing sessions, because actually writing in itself is also therapeutic. Journaling is. There's a time I was struggling with a situation, and a cousin of mine told me, get a pen and paper, write it down, tell me about it. As Ladu, we have a concept that we host in April on the birthday of Maya Angelou. And we're looking for a female icon. That time when most of our spaces were dominated by male poets, we felt like we needed a space to now highlight. I'm so happy that Beverly has feelings honoring great women.
Yes.
So we had an exercise of letters to Maya. And these were letters of female poets to Maya Angelou as an icon of writing. She's gone through civil rights movement. She was assaulted when she was young. She overcame that. She became this larger than life icon. She was at the inauguration of Bill Clinton. I felt she embodies an idea of what a young writer could look up to. And the therapeutic experience of these participants writing letters to Maya Angelou and then reading them out loud was beautiful to watch. So I absolutely agree with you. We'll incorporate writing exercises as part of elements of therapy. There will be listening poetry, there will be conversations, but all those are the elements that can aid poetry to be as therapy. Yeah, and writing is important.
I believe writing allows people to access parts of them that they're less conscious about.
Yes.
And it allows us to, it's easier for you to write, to appreciate writing of another. Not easier, but you have a deeper appreciation.
Yeah.
Of another's writing because you write.
Because you write.
And
yes.
and maybe when we say poetry, people think it also feels very
elitist, complex.
Elitist, very professional.
Professional, yes.
Poets.
Yes.
Until we know
I
how
know, I know.
I watched that.
Yeah.
It was until I watched, there's something I watched and I don't remember his name, but he was a show by this guy called Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
And he's a writer, he's a poet.
Okay.
But he has built a business around executive leadership.
Okay.
He does trainings in communication.
Okay.
And team building through poetry.
Share the link, please.
I'll have to look for it. Yeah, because now I can't even remember, but my algorithm will, I'm sure, will bring it back. I'll look for it and share it with you. So what they did was he taught people how to write. Even he said write in an accessible way. So there's writing as a journal, like you're writing your journal. But then writing as poetry. So he was explaining that poetry gives frame or purpose to the writing. And so the writing was to increase team building. And so he does this exercise where he teaches regular people in a department write about someone else. So everyone picks a name. And then you over that, I think 4 weeks, write a poem about that person, the importance of their role at work, and their life, what you know about their personal life. And write a poem, and you're going to read it to them. And the experience that people say they felt was, one, it makes you very aware of the importance of someone else's job. Especially because that job affects you and you affect them. So appreciation, but in a poetic way. So over 4 weeks teaches you how to frame the poem and write it. And it didn't have to be, he said it's not about perfection, but we just teach the framework of writing and make it entertaining, but also communicate the message. Entertaining in our sense that let it enjoyable. Don't just be, you are brown, you are tall, you are this, you are that, you are this. No, make it flow. Let it flow. Let it be a story. Yes. So and I said that's writing.
I know.
That's power of writing. And like you said, it's lightning until it's said to you. And so if I then come and finally speak to you what I've written, that makes now all the difference.
It does.
Right?
It does.
So I was thinking about, how do you, you said you're just going to start the writing workshops. I think it would be great. Even if we're going
to incorporate them. And personally, the reason I'm a spoken word poet, and we would go to open mics, and poets come and they say, hey, I thought of this poem on my way here on a border, and then they rant, and you find there's no accountability to it. But writing puts you in a place of accountable to what you're going to say. It is because it is truth telling.
Yeah.
So if in pursuit of truth, you can't over exaggerate. You can't betray yourself as well. That's the beauty about writing. And I intentionally started writing my performance poems because I intend to do recitals of them, so that I encourage the young poets out there that actually your performance work can be inspired by the written word. It can start from writing. And I believe we should all go back to writing, because that's where the truth is. And you can edit, but what you say can just go out there.
Yes.
If at all you're careless about it, someone records it, it's now a viral TikTok reel. So it's important that we incorporate writing as who are curating these spaces. And I am definitely going to take on that as a lesson. I'm going to include writing workshops in our sessions. It's that important.
It's so
It's
important.
therapeutic, but also it's important for anyone who wants to be a performance poet to sharpen their ability to write. It gives you, even the process of writing opens your mind to different dimensions. There are poems I discovered as I was writing that they need to be other poems, not just a stanza in this poem. You're about to conclude, then an idea comes, and then you're like, okay, this needs to be another poem. So writing is that beautiful, and it's also that powerful.
Yeah. I think that's true. And there's the thing you said, a spoken word artist also has accountability. They know the power of words.
Yes.
If you've not, writing allows you to build that.
Yeah.
You're more accountable. You're more conscious of what, because you now thought about what am I going to say.
Exactly, yes.
And so you learn how to think through and say, oh, do I want to say this? Do I not want to say this?
Yes, what is the intent of why I'm saying this or not? Yeah.
Yeah. So the Ladu Poetry events, how have they, what have you learned on this journey?
A lot. A lot.
What have you learned on that journey about the arts, the consumers of the arts, and the ecosystem as a whole? What have you learned?
First and foremost, I want to thank you for this opportunity, Christina. You're quite a good conversationalist. I don't know if someone has told you this before. But this is in my 15 years with my media background. This is my first interview.
Really?
Yep. I do not do interviews.
Mostly because you're on the other side.
I always like being on the background. I like being on the other side. But there's a lot that I've learned, a lot of mistakes that I've made. And I'm grateful to God that I have been consistent and humble enough to learn from those mistakes. To see that by the time we are now almost making 8 to 9 years of consistency.
Yeah.
And in the third year you're thinking of quitting. And it's also for us, we've defined what our vision is. When you check our Instagram page, it says creating platforms for emerging and budding spoken word poets, poetry, community-based organization, and non-profit initiative. That's who we are. Mm-hmm. We don't try to be a society. We don't try to be an association. We don't try to be anything other than that. So everything we think of doing, does it fall in line with this? Yes. So what are some of the events that we have? During holiday, we started the Ladu Youth Poetry Slams, and these are training platforms for high school attending school-going aspiring poets. And they get to be mentored by, we invite experts in storytelling, in writing, experienced poets. Then they also get to present their own poetry through a competition, and they get certificates and awards. We do this every holiday. Wow. And we use this as a way of discovering new talent and also maintaining our mandate of creating platforms for the emerging talents. Now, in a year, those are about 4 events, right? Now we launched Off the Page. Off the Page is an authors and poets meet every first Thursday of the month. And we've hosted so far about now 6. And here we have an author, we give them an hour, they read their work, then they get Q&As from the audience. And then poets do open mic. We consistently do that. And the idea is to build a community around consumers of the local literature, and also to have right exposure of our local writers. We've hosted Rita Auma, who wrote Dear Us and Dear Me. We've hosted Ibrahim Solo, whose poetry collection is To Those Whose Parents Had Sunk When They Took the Less Traveled. I find that title amazing. He was our last host. Then our very first one was Rachel Mutabingwa. She's created Adavera and an amazing universe of literature. We've had Richard Mwevesa, whose poetry collection is being taught at high school. And we believe by the year, when the year ends, we've interacted with different authors, but our small audiences have also seen what else is out there, not just Daydreamer. So that is our monthly event Off the Page.
At Ishazi.
Currently at Ishazi in Bukoto. And why Off the Page is getting the word to live. you know, to have impact.
And there you're reading both books?
Yes.
And books and poems?
Yes, books and poems. So it could be an anthology, a collection, it could be a novel, it could be a collection of short stories. Our next guest is going to be a children's book writer.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're excited about that. Then every Tuesday, we launched Poetry and Strings, which is creating a buzz around Kampala. And this is a platform, a free to attend, 100% free to attend platform for anyone who loves acoustic music, anyone who loves art, anyone who loves poetry. Why? Because you are certain that there is an event not built around personalities, but around the idea. You're going to find amazing raw talent, because we welcome anyone. And we've had those stories of the couple that commissioned the poet. We've had many other young people who would not have discovered otherwise. And it is also gaining its traction. We are almost, I think, making our 12th edition. We are located at the Chot. People are wondering, what is the Chot? The Chot Boutique Hotel. It's inside Kampala Club.
Yeah.
Just right after Sheraton, before Nakasero Primary School. And we're there every Tuesday. On the weekends, I produce comedy shows. There's Binti Film Festival happening. I'm the producer for it. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you didn't know. Thank God.
Nice.
You didn't know. So, because now you get to know and to discover. But a number
Binti
of
Film Festival is on 17th.
15th, 16th, and 17th.
17th.
Yeah, 15th at Namaste is where we are launching this Friday. Then 16th and 17th at Central Park in Kamocha. People reach out to me as a creative arts producer to produce their events because of my AR background. I help secure audience relations, which is another.
Yes, you mentioned it at Power FM. That's what you are doing.
Yes. So when you hear of public relations, there's another discipline, audience relations, which is popular for media, radio and TV. You deal with how the audience receives events and collecting data and all that. So because of that background, a number of artists, comedians, film organizers reach out to me as a curator as well. And they partner with me, they collaborate with me, or they hire me to produce their events. And Binti is one that I'm happy to associate with as well. So I'm producing the 3-day festival.
Nice.
So, yes.
Congrats.
So you find that it may seem like a lot, but you find that our once a month is on a Thursday, our Poetry and Strings is on a Tuesday. So you find these other weekend days allow me now to be this flexible, right?
Yes.
And I think also it is high time as creative artists, we take our work as full-time work.
Yes.
The way someone is contracted with the job description from 8 to 5, you show up. That's how we need to show up to our work. So I have that discipline of dividing my time, of dividing my days and my activities. And that's how it seems like, Ladu, we are doing a lot. How are you able to do it even when you're not, because currently we are almost self-funded or with support from partners in terms of awareness, in terms of coordination. But that's how I'm able to pull it off, really.
Nice. What lessons, maybe what's one big lesson that you now know, for example, that you're taking into Binti, that for people to, you said audience relation. I'd like to hear that. What's one lesson you're implementing in, let's say, the Binti Film Festival that you maybe did not have a few years before?
A few years before, I did not build healthy networks with venue owners. So as an artist, as a creative, you need to know who are the key players in my art form. That affect my art form. What is your relationship with sound? What is your relationship with lighting? What is your relationship with marketing? What is your relationship with venue owners and venue management? And a few years back, I didn't know, but with trial and error, I have built a good network and a good relation with different key players who affect my industry. And it is easy, like Binti, their launching date, we had a partner who had given us a venue, and last minute they changed their mind. They're like, no, our space is now going for something else, or maybe now we want money. Before we were offering it for free. So when I took on Binti, it was easy for me because I have a number of relationships that I've built with different spaces to be like, oh, now we can actually use this other space. Can it work for us? Yes, I negotiated that easily. And that helped me. And that helps with even booking space at the National Theatre. When you build relationships with people who are key players in your art form, it really helps. And I've implemented that. And it helps me with everywhere we have an event as a space, at Ishazi, at Forest Cottages, Naguru, at the Chot. It's all relationship based. Yes. Beyond the money and the hire and everything, because sometimes the money is there or sometimes it's not enough. It's relationship based. So yeah, that is one thing that I struggled with, that I'm overcoming, and I can clearly see it's helping me in a major way.
Yeah.
To be able to produce events, but also to be able to host what we do. Building relationships is quite important.
So important.
Yes.
What's one lesson you know around getting art to be enjoyed or received, or an event to be received well by an audience? What's something you artists should think about as they create these events for people out there to receive them well? What's one lesson that you didn't know before, and yet it makes a very big impact on ability for an audience to show up and also enjoy or receive it well?
The lesson if I was to go into audience relations as a concept, it's quite large. But what I learned was, when you're preparing an event or a concept or your art, think of your audience. Who are they? Where do they hang out? What do they want to consume? Think and understand them, study them, and tailor your work to them. We had before now TikTok and Instagram stabilized, we had the Facebook marketing thing a few years back.
Yes.
And in advertising, most people, you spread and pray, and you find that you've made a post, it has 1,000 people, you have an event, not even 20 have showed up.
Yeah.
So when you tailor your niche product to your audience, and you say, my audience, who are they? They're actually 50 people. How many people do I want to attend? I want 30 people. Reach out to them directly, build a way of tailoring your messaging to suit their interests. And that has helped me so much that at Ishazi, for Off the Page, we are targeting authors and poets. We reach out to them. We invite them. And that is the audience we are comfortable with. It's the audience that we want. Yeah. And when you have that in mind, that you just don't create an artwork and you post and you let it be there. You don't just share and let it, I call it spread and pray. You spread everywhere, you distribute flyers everywhere, and you hope that maybe some people will show up. Yeah, some will see, some may not. But tailoring your message to your audience and defining who your audience is for your work, like for Daydreamer, if I'm to use Daydreamer as an example, I'm targeting young people, young adults who have struggled with depression, may not be fans of poetry, may not be fans of spoken word, or not. It is written in a way that is relatable. Yeah. So I'm communicating to events where they are. I'm attending Live More. I'm attending different activities where they are. I'm doing recitals to universities, to schools, because that is my audience. And even the way I'm wording my messaging on Instagram or on TikTok is to target them. So artists, we need, poets, spoken word artists, we need to define who our audience is. Even writers, all creatives, when you define your audience, reach out to them and write to them in the language they understand. Okay. Yeah, that has helped. It has been a game changer for me, and it has been a great lesson that I've come to learn. Yeah.
Nice. Do you believe that creatives need managers?
Yes, but they one thing most creatives are failing at is taking time to study who they are and what their art form is. But when you know exactly who you are, what it is that you're pursuing, you will be exact at running it well, at learning it, and at mastering it. As artists, we need managers, but we also don't know what they should manage. We also don't know who an art manager is. So if we take time to know our art and what it takes for our art to grow and reach where it needs to go, we shall know who managers are. We shall appreciate them when they begin managing. Because a good art manager should be able to tell the artist, don't post that, don't go there. And they should be able to listen. But here we have people we command. you send and you order around, and then in the name of, that is my manager, someone who does my booking. No, artists definitely need management, yeah, but they need to understand what the role of management is, what the role of a manager is, and what is their art form. That if you know your art form, it will guide what needs to be managed. Yes, but as an artist, you cannot concentrate on your art at the same time be your own manager. So what the manager will do is take the burden of business, take the burden of organizing, so that the artist concentrates on themselves and on their art. Yeah, the manager will be like, okay, you're needed for an interview at 11. You've showed up at 10:30. By 9, be there. This is the brief. Yeah, but you find that we have artists who are struggling to post on Facebook, post on TikTok, manage their own personal profiles, pick bookings. You have an interview at 11. You've showed up at 11:30. It's crazy. Yeah, but the process should start from studying who we are and what we're doing. But yes, I agree. We need management.
All right. What are people who don't come for poetry and strings missing out on?
People who do, nice, nice. People who don't come for poetry and strings, what they are missing out on is affordable travel of mind.
Affordable travel of mind.
Exactly.
Nice.
You all agree travel is beautiful.
Travel is beautiful.
But it's expensive.
Facts.
But another way you can travel is to read books. Another way you can travel is to attend a beautiful curated space where you don't know who is going to say what, that may inspire you, may heal you, may connect you to a new opportunity, may make you think differently. The opportunity of an affordable, did I say it's 100% free to attend?
Yes,
a well-curated space where you're going to listen to music, where you're going to listen to good poetry, where you're going to listen to good storytelling, and you don't know who you're going to meet. That is an opportunity to have your mind and yourself to travel while you're still in your same confines at an affordable rate, which is free. Yes, that's what they're missing out on. And the fact that there is a young man who performed Signs They Don't See called Titus. It's on the Ladu Poetry TikTok account. I posted it yesterday. In one day, the post of that video has 10,000 views and more than 500 comments in one day. And the people who were in audience of that experience will have a story to tell 10 years from now when Titus is somebody. They'll tell their kids, I was there when that was happening. So the question to you who is missing out is, what stories do you want to tell 10 years from now? Where were you when this awesomeness was happening? That is what you get to miss out.
Nice. Yes. I personally don't think it should be free, but I know where.
No, there is it is not free in the sense of it is free. Value is exchanged and created in different ways.
That's true.
For our stage we are at right now, our goal is to create a free to access, but the leverage is in your attention as an audience, because also we intend to have a creative corner which showcases crafts, books, and art pieces, which when you buy, you support us. When you come to our space, the church where we are, and you order for a pizza or have a drink, you're supporting the space, which supports us in being there.
Yes.
And that is value. Ideally, a space like, musicians hire a space like Serena, 15, 20 million.
Yeah.
A nice, comfortable spaces where art should be consumed cannot be accessed for free. So there's also value in that, and that's how we leverage it. We leverage it on the attention and the audience. Then also we are partnering with Play It Loud. They're going to be a streaming platform that we hope to have our content of the show recorded into a TV series. Now there's value also in that. Now, with my background, definitely with media marketing and advertising, you know that it may be free to attend, but in case we have a TV show that is running, there could be probably advertising. There are many ways of leveraging value. And one of the ways is people attending, supporting the spaces, buying our books, because proceeds go to also support us and also the artists. But for now, the reason we intend to have shows which people will pay, we want to create access to audience and also serve them something good that they in turn can value. Poetry and Strings, at the end of the day, we're going to have a Poetry and Strings Festival, a 3-day back-to-back experience, and you will pay. There will be a price. Yes, because we have to pay the poets, we have to pay the artists, and we have to create good content. So we intend to do that. But for now, we are leveraging on other ways of creating value and giving the audience something beautiful they can access.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Thank you.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's a journey, yes.
Thanks for making poetry accessible. Yeah. I did not have any access to poetry until Ladu Poetry House. So for me, that's a real transformation.
Yeah. And you're an amazing partner. Don't be too humble.
We are doing our best as Tonda.
Yeah, as Tonda. Yes. As Tonda. Tonda. A number of people keep asking me about Tonda, and they're like, thanks for getting Tonda on board. I saw some of the ladies who came because of Tonda. So
we don't even know them because they just access the app.
Yeah, because of the different communities. Yes. I've seen a number of people. We do interact. So we have people we also don't know who just show up, and you're doing amazing, and we are happy to affiliate. We're happy to partner with Tonda. So, yeah.
Yeah, the role of Tonda really is to democratize access of the events. But Tonda cannot democratize what doesn't exist. So for us, whenever we find creators who are so passionate about creating what we call meaningful events, and Ladu is one of those, very intentional. About the space, about how many people, who comes on stage. Even now when I hear you saying, we may have to get into writing workshops. I know that's because of the quality of work that you want people to come and find.
Exactly.
I have been there when someone, is registering and at one of the slums and they're like, I'm just, the papers are all over, they're writing. And I remember one of those slums had a judge, and the judge is a more seasoned poet. And he told the young person that, look, if you want to get good at this, you have to prepare. There's nothing in life you get good at without preparation.
Yes.
So for us, it's people like you who make the work we do meaningful, make the work we do actually possible. So it's really great. I think the work at Ladu, and I hope everyone who's not attending a poetry event tries it, because they are missing out on a lot.
They are, and we are creating more. We are also getting better at creating. We also want to get better at writing and performing. But poetry is one art form that has the power to heal you there and then, to inspire you, and also to transport you to a world you didn't know of. Yeah. Every poem that you read in Daydreamer is a journey to a mind that was wandering, to a new way of thinking. That is the beauty of our art form. So I really thank what you're doing, and I want to invite as many people to be part of our events. And you wanted to read a poem?
I think you should.
No, I don't like reading my own work.
Oh, it's so cringe. You know what?
A bit, but also 1st November we are doing theater poetry recital of Daydreamer. Currently, I'm meeting a cast of about 16 poets. We are rehearsing, and the content in there is meant to also be performed.
Yeah.
Yes. So I definitely don't mind reading, but I always love hearing other people voice out. Yeah.
Okay, so I've danced between two.
You're becoming shy.
No, honestly, I just can't decide. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I can't decide which one. There's Help Me Believe. I found that
it's a prayer.
Relatable. It's a prayer.
Yes.
It's a prayer that most people are not willing maybe to say out loud.
Yeah.
That these are things that even Christians struggle with. And I said that this is true.
Yeah, so Help Me Believe
and then Shine.
Shine. I know why Shine. I know why Shine. It's such a ladies' empowerment piece.
Yes, but I think it's to anyone. And I like it as well because of people who are trying to create spaces. Do it.
Yes.
Because there's a point in rating the light. So maybe you decide which one, and then I'll read that one. You decide it.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll read Help Me Believe.
Yeah. Okay.
I won't read all of it. It's a bit long.
It's a bit long. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll read 1, 2, and then maybe 3. The last I'll pick.
Okay.
Dear God, help me believe what you say about me. I've heard your voice, seen your promises in print, but sometimes, Lord, it feels like they weren't meant for me. Restore my faith to believe there's still hope for me, because truth be told, I've started to doubt. The whispers in my head grow louder each day, telling me I'm unworthy of your blessings, unfit for your goodness, too broken to be made whole. Help me believe what you think of me. I know you've used broken vessels before. Moses, he stuttered but led nations. David, a shepherd boy chosen to be king. Rahab, a woman with a past. Yet you placed her in the line of Jesus. So why do I struggle to believe you can do the same with me? Why do I shrink back feeling like a fraud in the spaces you have called me to? Why do I let this fear of being a pretender chain me when your word says I'm free? Help me believe what you think of me.
Wow. Wow, thank you. Let me give you a brief backstory about Help Me Believe.
And we close.
As we close. Help Me Believe there's a Psalm 29. I have a plan for you, the plan to prosper, not to, I may not quote the whole of it. I struggled with knowing that God has this perfect plan for me as an individual. And the plans to prosper, and then you're going through trials and you're going
endless
through
trials.
endless and you're like, but really,
yeah.
But I'm struggling with doubt of am I on the right path of this pursuit? Did I make a mistake? Should I go back and really dust my CV and maybe take on the career that I felt like I should have taken? Because you're in a pursuit that is not paying you. Yet life as we know it, it's bills every day.
Yes.
And then also friends, family, they're like, are you serious with your life about this? Poetry won't take you anywhere. Da, 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 da. So the doubt of self, yet when you go to God, he's like, have faith. I know the plans I have for you. So it is a prayer to anyone who has doubt, who is struggling with belief of purpose, and saying, God, help me believe that plan that you say you have of me. What you think of me, help me believe it. Because I really want to. For myself, I'm beginning to give up. Yeah, the entire collection of Daydreamer has backstories, and that's the beauty of all of them have backstories. Yeah. And our recital on 1st November is called Daydreamer Recital Backstories.
Nice.
We are going to tell the backstories of some of these poems. That was a good read. Thank you.
Thank you. I relate to it. I think as someone who's building a business.
Yeah.
And you have all these desires, even in your personal life.
Right? Yes.
There are all these things, and they tell you read the Bible, God has done it for others. Yeah. And you're just like, but will he do it for me?
Yes.
So it's, even if you don't tell me that backstory, and that's why I say your writing is so accessible.
Thank you.
I can find my story.
That's a goal.
And that's my backstory.
That is the goal.
And that's the goal.
That is the goal. Yes.
If you think that was a good one, I hope
it was a good one. It was a good one. And if you can join our recital, you could even read that. I think you could
read that.
You could. I'm going to sign you
guys. First November.
But you're very busy.
I'm going to. Show me now.
We meet every other Sunday, and it's a recital. It's a theater recital, meaning you have to memorize. So so between now and then you won't have the script. Yeah. Okay. So if you take it on, but it's only one poem. Yes.
One poem, I can do it.
If you can do it, you got it. You're in the recital.
That is it. And and God is helping us to believe.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for your time. Yeah. I know you're also very busy, so I really, really appreciate you coming and doing the conversation. I don't mean an interview. It's just a conversation.
We need to have another one with me and Beverly.
We'll have another with you and Beverly. I think it will be really cool.
It will be. There's a lot I want to share with her. Yeah. She's been a huge inspiration and a supportive friend. We don't always meet, but a lot that I'm doing has been in the background of what she's doing. And I like that from the male perspective, I'm taking on certain journeys that she's also taking on. There's a lot to learn from each other, and I think a conversation with her would be helpful as well.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Amazing.
Kylie, thank you so much, Mark.
You're welcome.